Good morning, everybody. My name is Anthony, and this is day 4 of designing websites for small businesses. I want to welcome all of you to the live stream today. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you have had a good morning and that you had a good day yesterday. And today we are going to be doing a few exciting things, helping you figure out how to build a website for your small business. And the goal of today's exercise, just as it has been for the whole of this week, is getting you to a place where you are able to build a full website for yourself using the methods that we're going to use. So even as I build this thing out, I'm changing strategies a bit. My goal was to build and I show you as I build it. But basically, as we saw yesterday, it wasn't working out very well because we spent 2 hours doing this. And so I'm changing tact a bit and I'm going to show you a few critical items and you can go and work on some of those things out yourself. Again, one of the things that I've said is that we are here for you. We are here to assist you. We are here to help you out, help you get the kind of support you need. So that you're able to build a website that actually works for you. So I do not want this to be something that will discourage you and make you feel that because I'm not showing you how to build as we go, like building step by step, that it's not going to make you like work. We are still going to be here and helping you build out your website. And the main way that we've done that is we have a number of our people who are experienced in web design on the live chat, and that means that if you have questions that you'd want answered, we can be able to answer those. If you'd want assistance, then someone to look at your screen, you can go to deepafrica.com and just start a chat with us, and you're going to get assisted there because we want you to have a website that you're going to be able to use. And so that we can be able to move quickly and get deeper into certain elements without just glossing over them. We are going to be, I'm not going to be building every page one by one as you watch because that's going to take quite a bit of time. Actually, usually web design projects take a bit of time to do because as you saw, we spent 2 hours just working on one page, which we did not even complete within the time that we were working on. And so I advise you to, it takes practice and it takes a bit of time for you to be able to get the hang of it. I advise you to practice using the lessons that you have learned during the webinar. Now, before I begin, I just want to mention people who are here already. Karibuni sana. I'm seeing, well, Vincent was here first. And karibu sana, Vincent. Design Jungle, welcome back. I see George, welcome. I'm seeing Morton, karibu sana. I'm seeing Samuel Mbogua, welcome back. Paul, karibu sana. Good morning, web designers. Calgary, karibu. Nice to have you here again. I am seeing John, Vincent, you've commented there again. Misati Realtors, good morning, good people, good morning. BJROSON, could you tell us how you pronounce that so that we are able to refer to you correctly? Because you've been around for a while and I really would like to say your name correctly. So if you don't mind just saying your name the way it should be, or probably giving us what your name is, if you don't mind that, I would be happy to know. Samson, good morning. Amos, good morning. Karibuni sana. I really welcome you. Welcome to today's webinar. So I'd like us to get started on today's webinar, and the goal of today is completing the other pages that we had talked about, the other pages of our wedding website. And as you can see, let's just go to where our wedding website so that you can see what we had done, where we were at as of yesterday. I spent a few minutes after we were done with the webinar to just get a few things ready. And so here's how the page looks so far. We have, you remember, we had originally, we had that as our goal. We wanted to have that. And it's again, one of the things that I'm trying to do is make sure that you do not have to do something that is new and outside of your ability to do. So I do not want to create new sections. I want to rely on what is there on the templates. That's because for many beginners, you may not have the ability to design something that looks good for you, that it's going to look really good. And one of the other things about it is that you may design it and it may look good, but you may not understand how to make it mobile compatible. Like you see, the themes that the templates that we take, they are naturally mobile, like responsive. And so, like you notice, like I need to fix this up here. And part of the reason why this is because some of these things I edited myself. If I had just relied on the template itself, it would actually look really nice on mobile on its own. And so that's the thing. I would advise you as you're building this out, especially when you are you're just beginning this this journey of being a designer, or designing a website for your own website. For your own business, I would not advise you to have a website like design your own things. I would encourage you to rely on the templates, because when you rely on the templates, they are going to be already pre-designed. You'd probably want to test them out and see whether they are mobile responsive. You want to test whether they do they load properly on different devices. But even with that, at least you're more assured that it's going to load better on a mobile device. Just in case you didn't know what I did right there, every browser has the ability to allow you to view like the code underneath. And the way you do that is right click on any page, click on inspect. I'm using Chrome right now. When you click inspect, you will have, there's this icon here, toggle the mobile device, and it will show you how it's going to look on a mobile device, just as a small detour there. Now, I am going to be careful not to go on very many detours today, so that we can be able to keep this webinar within the time frame that we had talked about, 1 hour. So let me just talk about the things that I did here, and so that we can be able to move on. Okay, we had already done this. We had already added these pictures here. What I did was I added the photos within this, photos of the different products that we have. So bridesmaids dresses, wedding shoes, gown rentals, wedding dresses, wedding accessories. And I just like to point at one thing in specific, that you want to magnify the things that are most important to you. As when building a website for your own business, you want to focus on building a website in a way that the person's eyes, the viewer's eyes, are guided. You are basically guiding a viewer's eyes. And so, like in choosing to have wedding dresses, and I'm still actually trying to figure out how I can be able to make this bigger, how I can be able to make this section bigger. And I'm thinking about it, because I want the person's eyes to focus on the main product first, and then the other smaller products later. And that's the goal of it. And so when building out a website, you want to build a website that guides a person's eyes to the place where you want them to be. So, and the way you do that is in different ways. The first is making things bigger. One of the ways that you can draw the user's eyes is making things bigger, making things like increasing the size. So for instance, it's actually called hierarchy, like the hierarchy, hierarchy. I think you understand what that word means. And so you're able to guide the user to on several levels. Like this is most important, this is next in importance, and so on. So for instance, in guiding the user's eyes, it would be assumed that when a person is going through, number one, our wedding gown section is at the center, and it's the biggest of them all, and it has different text and different font to just highlight that this is the main thing. These others are flower girls, pardon the pun, but the rest are flower girls, but this is the main thing. This is the bride of the website. And I'm not just using that because this is a wedding website. Even in other scenarios, you would want to highlight the thing that is most crucial, the thing that is most important. That is what you want to make. That's what you want to make most highlighted, and then the rest fall in their place. Now remember, as I mentioned, one of the things I'm trying to do is not design any new sections, because by doing that, I'll probably throw you off. I want you to use what is there in the template. So when looking at the templates, when choosing the templates, you remember here, like when choosing the templates here, you want to choose templates that are going to require very minimal editing on your part, because you just want to change just the colors, you want to change just a few fonts here and there. For instance, I decided, because again, I do not want to change the structure of the website very heavily. I actually changed my font. You notice this font here? The font is not the same as what it was before. It's the font is matching what I found on the template that I found. Now, if you have a business that already has a branding guideline, I would actually advise that you stick to those fonts. And if you already have you've already gotten a font, you've already gotten a logo that has branding guidelines, I would actually advise that you just use a web designer, because you might actually not be able to the T, follow those branding guidelines. But in case you want to do it yourself, then I would advise that you follow those and find a template that has fonts that are close to that. But in my case, because the logo I'd created was not cast in stone, I actually thought it looked better when it has this font. So I changed my logo font to be the same font that we are using here. And so the reason why I wanted to do that is two reasons. Okay, number one, it looks nice, but number two, it also has it allows for consistency, that I do not have to change a lot of things on this website to make it look the way I want it to look, because it will beat the purpose having to change all of the font types because my logo looks different. Again, that's because my logo had flexibility. So I've mentioned like focusing on the eyes. I want to get back to something I had mentioned before, that the goal of your website design project is like when you're designing a website, you want to satisfy several goals. First is to tell the person visiting this website, I have what you want. I have what you want. I have it available, and this is what I do. You're in the right place. And number two, you also want to tell this person that you can trust me. I am trustworthy. I am a legit business that can be able to provide what you're looking for. I will not cheat you along the way. So you want to be able to provide trust markers. Part of what trust markers are like a good design. When you have a good design, it's a good trust marker. It allows somebody to be able to trust. Like when you see professionally done pictures, you will think that this person knows what they're. When you see good like open spaces, let me give an example. Have you ever gone to a supermarket, and in that supermarket it was really crowded and the aisles are very like close in between? Have you ever thought about the feelings that you had within that supermarket? You probably had not a very good opinion of it. You probably would not think of it as the best supermarket in the world. But compare that with supermarkets, like what the standard of supermarkets are. Walk into any big chain supermarket in Nairobi, the supermarkets that are in malls. You'll find that they have very wide aisles, very brightly lit. Mostly they don't use black tiles, they use white tiles so that they can make you feel comfortable that the place is lit and beautiful. And that then causes you to trust that place, that this place is, it's a subliminal feeling that it tells your mind that you are safe here. You are in a safe place. The same reason why, like if you are going into like, let's say a place that should make you scary, like for fun. Let's say it's an amusement park that has like a horror themed like ride. That horror themed ride will not be in white colors and bright and beautiful. It's most likely going to be very dark and very red and having like showing you signs of danger, because they want to create in you a feeling of, okay, I am not safe. And that's intentional because they want to make it seem slightly scary. So on the opposite end, if you don't want to create those signs of fear, you want to have wide open spaces. So creating padding, like the way there's padding on this website. Okay, let me stop using jargon. The way there is empty, like this, the space in between, that this is not like aligned right at the top here. That's one of the things I'm talking about. That's padding for you. And so the paddings and margins, you have a lot of white space, a lot of empty space. That's the same reason why we're using like a consistent color scheme. Those things allow the person to feel that I am in the right place. I can trust this website. It seems trustworthy to me. Those decisions are made in a split second. They are not things that people think about actively, and so you do not want to. You don't want to leave that to chance. You want to make sure that a person feels safe when they're visiting your website. Okay, enough talking now. Let's move to what we are supposed to do today. What I've already done, let me just refresh this, is I want us to cover some important concepts. The first is forms. And forms are a very important part of any website, especially simple websites, because they are the main way that you make your website interactive. When you have a form that works well, then your website is going to be easier to use, and it's going to be more interactive with the clients. Now, I am used to using paid plugins and paid tools, and those ones have forms incorporated. Elementor has forms incorporated into it that naturally integrate with it. But in this case, because we want to make it completely free, that you're creating this website without spending any money at all, then I had to look for some of the good plugins that are out there that work well with Elementor. Now, what I found was Contact Form 7. Contact Form 7, let me show you how that would look. No, that's not the right place. I want to add a new plugin. So let's go to plugins, add new. The way you'd add that plugin is type Contact Form 7. So Contact Form 7 is a good plugin. You can see it has this, and it has 5 million installs, 1,700 reviews. It's a good form. It works well for many people, and so that's what I'm going to use today. And I'm going to show you how to style it to make it look good. So within my pages, let's just go to where my pages are. Just a moment, pages. So forms can be incorporated in many places, not just the home page. In this example, I would want to incorporate the form on the wedding gown page. So basically meaning that when somebody comes and views the wedding gowns, I want them to after that like contact me, either to book a viewing and book an appointment, or tell me something about, like, basically contact me, give me their contact information. So I will go to the page and click edit with Elementor. Now I've not edited this page, it's just basically the theme that was currently there. So I want to add a form because that's something that was not there. So one of the things that I want to teach you is also within Elementor, how to add new elements. As I've said, one of the things that I mentioned earlier is that you do not want to edit a lot of elements. But the thing about it is that you will need to add some elements to because the templates won't come perfect. They won't come perfectly the way you'd want them to look. They normally would be slightly different. They would have things that may be missing. And because, yes, I say that you want to do as minimal editing as possible, but when you have to do some editing, here's what you do. So I'm going to ignore the rest of what is up there and just say that at the end, when somebody finishes, when somebody reads through about the wedding dresses that we have, they're going to come to, they're going to want to like click a form. So let me just fix something. You notice that up here, there is this gap that is up here. You may probably notice that when you're using Elementor. So you want to come to the gear icon here and say hide title. And so that hides the title, and there's still a space there. So let's use Elementor full width. Elementor full width should take care of that gap as well. There we go. It's the gap is eliminated. So let's say wedding gowns. Wedding gowns is what this page is all about. Just making it look a bit better than what we have. Okay, so let's say you want somebody to be the main action point that you want for this person is to contact us. So the way let's add a form right at the bottom here. So you see there's a blank space here. We just want to add just a basic single column form like this. And so once you click single column like that, just click on the plus icon, and you're going to see a list of selections of things that are here. And they seem many, they are not. Well, they are many, but they shouldn't be very confusing, because it's not too confusing once you get a hang of it. So let's look for contact form 7. You just type form. It is not yet available, so let's go towards contact form 7. Let's come to the contact itself, contact forms. Okay, so we wanted to add, what we want to add here at the bottom is the form, and so that form, you need to be able to design that form into how it should look. So the basic way that you want to do that is there's a default form that was there. We're not going to use that. We are going to add a new one, but before we do, here we go. Let's just move that to the side. Let's see how this looks. Let's see how this contact form looks. Now, I don't want you to be scared when you see this. I was actually trying to avoid having to get you to do anything that looks like code, but we may have to do that here. Now, this is basically text saying that here is how your form, here are the elements that your form is going to take. And so, for instance, this form has a label that has, the label is saying your name, then the other label is like your email, the other label is the subject of your communication, the other email label is basically the message that you're going to give. And within those labels are the way that form would look, the text area of that form. So, all right, let me just go back here. Before we design a form, I just want to show you how you actually embed it, so that we're going to learn twice how it's done at first before we embed, and then actually when embedding. So copy that. This is called a shortcode. So copy this small piece of code here, and then come back to where we were. This is the form where we were. Click plus and add shortcode. Just click on that. Now this is what you want to drag onto here. So you want to add a shortcode. So that piece of text that we had written that was there is called a shortcode. Now you see when we've added this small code here, it's actually added the things that we had talked about. So you remember it had your name, your email, subject, and your message, which is the same that is here. Your name, your email, subject, and your message. It's the same one. It's the same thing here. Your name, email, subject, and message. So basically, the form, this form is what you're seeing in these lines of code here, which we have obtained from here, which is in here. I don't know whether I've lost anybody in there. I hope not. If you feel like you have been if you feel like you're lost, please let me know. I'm hoping not to lose you along the way. So We Started Realtors is asking how can one change the theme? Will it impact the way it looks? Yes, if you change the theme, it is going to impact the way the website looks. But in our case, like with what we've done, it's only going to affect the header and the footer. And you may get a theme that is going to like compress everything into one place, like the way what we had seen yesterday, where it's going to make your website look a bit off if it doesn't allow for full width, like a full width from edge to edge. And so Astra is that's the reason why I'm using Astra, because it works well for this kind of scenario. But yes, you can change the theme. It's mainly, especially for the case of like what I've done so far, it's only going to affect the header and footer. Someone else had asked a question, quick question from Design Jungle. Is it advisable to build website layout on to build the website layout based on the preferred template? I think what you're asking is working backwards, and then instead of first like designing what you want, instead of designing something like that you work backwards. Now that's okay, you can do that, but yeah, actually that's a good strategy. It would work as a good strategy. The reason why is it would allow you to to have as few changes as possible. The one danger about that is it's important to know what you want first, because when you know what you want, you can be able to work backwards to achieve it, rather than like seeing what is there, then trying to adjust what you want based on that. It's important to know what you want. So I would say if you want to design your layout based on the way it looks, a good strategy would be first understanding what it is you want and what sections that are really important. Then you can be able to then design your layout based on that. I hope that answers the question. So we were designing a new form. So we came to add new, let's see. So we are adding a new form. Let's call this our wedding dress information request. Now this is just to help us understand what this form is afterwards, because we may probably have many forms that are in here. The way we got here, by the way, is contact forms add new. And you can see it's already pre-populated the basic form, like the one we had before, the one we saw here, like it's the same one, but we want to make it slightly different. So what we want to do is we want to edit some of the fields to make them to make them fit what we want. So the thing that we want to ask our clients for is their name, their email address, their phone number. Then we also want to ask them when their wedding date is. We also want to ask them when they would want to come in for a fitting. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields. And so we already have the name in here, so that's already there. Your email is already there. So we want to now create phone number. So you'll just add a few more spaces there, click on tell, and when you click on tell, it's going to generate this for you. It's going to show you like the basic, here are the, okay, what fields are they? Tell me about this field. So you want to name it telephone number. Telephone number, it brings it all into one. So default value, you want to leave that open. CSS attribute, you want to leave that open. And so we have that tag open. The rest of them, you want to leave them open. So you have this tag, telephone number, tell telephone number. So you want to insert that tag there. Now you realize that this tag, as it is here, is it's not looking like the rest of ours, and that's because it doesn't have a label like the other ones that we had created. So you want to copy that label there and add it there, and you want to copy this, which is a closing tag for that label, and add it there. So you just want to make sure that you have label that has this here, the same way you're copying what is up here. You just want to make sure that the things that are in between is your new field, but with the label like surrounding it. So this is the label opening tag, this is the label close tag. Now this may seem complex, it is actually not. All you're doing is just copying. Let's do that again. Let's actually just select, no, let's just select this. This is the code that we had inserted, and delete this. So what we want to do is we want to replace, I'm just repeating so that you're able to understand. You're adding that in between there and changing this, because it's going to read, instead of telephone number, it's going to read subject. So you want to call this subject. Just that. No, sorry, not subject, telephone number. Just that. So what we've done is that we've replaced the field. We've created a new field. We don't want to have a message section because we've said we want name, email, phone number, then the wedding date. So instead of like erasing this, let's just change this to wedding date. And then we want to come and delete this because this is what was there before, and in its place we want to come and add date, a date section, which is that. So we want to name this wedding date, and this is a required field. You can leave the rest as blank, so that when somebody clicks on it, it opens up. That's still okay. And then we want to insert there. So you see it's inserted right in the middle of this. So I think you get the point. So let's do the rest of them. Wedding date. When would you want to book an appointment? So we've copied that. We've pasted there. We delete this. We add you want to add date. The date is also required, like when do you want to book your appointment, and leave that as is, just as that is. But we want to change this to appointment date, when you want to book your appointment. Insert. And so you see you have that there. Then let's make this when would you like to book your when would you like your to be? So there we are. So let's save that form. Now when we save that form, now that we've saved that form, we can actually be able to see it's created a code for us. You remember the code that we had copied? It's created that code for us here. So copy this shortcode and paste it in the text widget content. So copy that, and in our case, would come and paste it here. You remember how we did it originally? So let me delete this so that we can do it again together. We came and created a new section like that, and then came and clicked on the plus, then came to short code. You looked for the item called shortcode. We dragged it there, and we pasted the code that we had been given. And you can see there it is. Like the form is available. Now, granted, this form could look better, and that's something we can probably try to do to make the form look better in terms of like the width. But again, this still works. This form works. Now, one of the things that I don't like about this form is that it's so close. You remember you're talking about space. So I want to just I'm clicked on the section here, and I just want to add some space above and below. So I've clicked on, if I add padding here, and I'm going to add it together, let's say I make it 200, it's added 200 on the right, on the left, on the bottom, and top and bottom, but I just want on the top and bottom. So what I want to do is unlink all the values and remove the one for right to be 0, probably let's make it 20, and the one on the left to be 20. And so actually 200 is a bit much, so let's make it 100. And let's make this 100. So with that, the form actually is more on its own. So we can add a title to it, a title that would help us like figure out what exactly is this. Why do you want me to fill a form? So we can copy stuff like what is already here. So let's actually copy that. Copy and come and paste. So it's been pasted down here. We want to copy it up here. Then we want to copy this small text, copy and paste here. Probably something else that will make our form look nice, because I feel like it's wide. We can add a new column to the right like that and make our form be on the right there. And so I think this is a better design. So let's change some of these colors. Let's change this to our default color that we had set. And let's change the text to say, appointment. Book your appointment. Let us know when you would be available for your booking for a fitting, and you can, and we will arrange for you to fit as many dresses as you like. Okay, let's say that's that. So basically what we've done is we've created a way of someone booking an appointment, and that's there. And it's fairly simple. It allows somebody to be able to like figure out, like get an appointment really quickly, and that's that. So now that this form has been created, where is it going and what does it do? If we fill this form, where does it go? So we need to be able to configure what exactly happens when the form is filled. So we want to just make sure that your all of this. Okay, let me just mention something. That this form sends an email. It sends an email to someone, somebody who like wants to. When somebody fills this, it sends an email to somebody, and you can be able to send two different emails. One that is like sending the email, the other one being a confirmation. So let's say to. Let's say we want to send it to. Okay, but when you're saying the two section, you want to say like who do you want this to send to? Like who when this form is sent, like who gets notified? So this most likely is going to be your email address. So you have your email address set there, and then you say who is it from? You can just leave it default to what it is there, and then the subject is new appointment request from let's pick this shortcode. Now I'm assuming a number of things here. I'm sorry. Now let me mention something that we are mentioning that you have a new appointment request. And this new appointment request is from somebody. So it's going to say who, like you remember in this form, it was saying like the name of the person. So it's going to say new appointment request from so-and-so. So from, in this case, from this person, your name. So it's going to say like, let's say if I fill it myself, it's new appointment request from Anthony. So, any additional headers, like you're replying to the email, if somebody replies, anyway, you can leave that blank. You can leave that as is. or you can even blank it out. It's not very important. It may confuse you. So here's the message body. So the message body, you remember we had deleted a number of things. So the subject of this email is not going to be like the your subject. You can actually remove most of these things in here, and leave it as just a moment. Actually, you can leave it down. You can leave this down here so that you can be able to know where this came from. So you want to now just draw out an email. Hello, team. Let's say you have a team. Or hello, Anthony. You have a new appointment request from that name, from the person, from not your name, it's the person who had added their name there, from, so from that person, request from that person. They want to come in let's add the date, appointment date is that. Their wedding date is, wedding date, copy, paste, and then what else did we have in there? We have name, email address, phone number. You can reach them on, and then you can put the phone number, the telephone number here. You can reach them on that phone number, on that. There we are. Kind regards, your website. This is going to be just done once. Once you've done this, it's going to be automatic. So you can actually also add file attachments. It's a pretty powerful tool. I use it in a number of places. You can add file attachments to that place, and it works pretty well. So now that you've created this form in this way, so what else do you do? How can you be able to get the form? I want to show you. I want to just create 5-minute email. You can be able to, it's actually a 10-minute email address. So what I Googled, if you just want to test out things, so you want to create a dummy account, you can create like a 5-minute email address. So I'm going to 10-minute email, and it's generated an email for me, which is that, and I have 10 minutes to use it. So let's use that as the one that we are testing with. So to admin, so there it is. I'm sending it to that and say save. So now, you remember we had done this on the wedding address here, the weddings page. So let's navigate to where that form is and test it. So Anthony, let's even say that's my email address. 0712500500 is our Deep Africa phone number. My wedding date is on the 28th of March, May, and then I want to set an appointment date for next week on Thursday, and then click send. Now, probably one thing you can do is change this from send to book appointment, instead of just saying send, because send is just basic. Let's see whether we have any email. Indeed, we have an email in the inbox. New appointment from Anthony. You can see new appointment from Anthony. Hello, Anthony. You have a new appointment request from Anthony. They want to come in on that date. Their wedding date is that. You can reach them on that. Kind regards, your website. Now, that's a basic form. It allows you to be able to get requests from your website directly without having a lot of very difficult, expensive integrations. That's one way. Now the other, so we've designed the form. You can make it look better. There are different ways you can make it look better. I'm just going to cover that really quickly. You can come on that hamburger menu and click on theme styles. Now on the theme styles, it allows you to configure how your like your website is going to look. Now this may already be overridden. In order for theme styles to affect all relevant elements, please disable the default colors. I would encourage you, because you are using these default colors we already set up. You don't want to do that. So you want to just leave this as is. You just want to add a few more functionalities. So let's say you just want to make sure that some things are not missed. So like for instance, the field, let's see whether it's going to edit it without changing it. Let's say, what was the name? I forget what this font name was. The font name that we had. Let's see. The font name is Sail. Yes, correct. So let's edit that there. Where is it? Here we are. Sail. And there we go. So you see, it's editing the field, the way the fields look. Now that's not what I wanted. I wanted to change the title, the titles to look different. So let's go to the labels. Yes, actually the labels is what we want to edit. So Sail. Now you see, they have been changed. Let's change the font size. Now realize that when you do this, you are changing all of them. You're not just changing for this particular form. You're changing the way all forms are going to look. So be careful when you're doing theme styles, because it's going to be editing everything. So be very careful. It can be dangerous if that's not what you wanted. It may cause unintended consequences. So for this particular case, that's what we wanted to do. Let's change the color of the label to pink, because why not? Okay, so now you can see that here's the way our form looks. I don't like the amount of spacing that is in between the forms. Let's see whether we can be able to change that. Not sure whether we can. Let's just check. This is the padding of the form itself. Perfect. Let's actually change that as well. And give it a border radius. Border radius is like making it curved, to be curved. So giving it a border radius. That actually looks better. It looks better now. Border color, you can actually give it a solid border color and make the solid border color have be like 1 pixel wide, and the color of this is going to be there. That's way too pink, and that's too colorful. Let's see. Okay, that's okay. I think that's fine. Now if you wanted to change the button, now remember, when you change buttons, you're changing all of the default buttons. So we probably want to leave our button the way it is, because I have the option of changing buttons here, but it's going to change all of the buttons out there. So I don't want to change this, because it's going to change the color of all the buttons. But I like the way it looks. It's okay. Other than the fact that the font is not very beautiful. Now, I still don't like I don't like everything with this form, because I feel there's more that can be done, and truly there is more that can be done. But in this case, because of time, I'll leave it like that. I probably will work on it after we're done with the live today, but that's that. So I've talked about forms. Forms was a really big part of all of this, and it adds huge functionalities to your website. Now, something that I probably not mentioned about this is that there are things that you can be able to add to allow somebody to be able to, they can give you like more functionality. And there are forms that can also be able to even to tell you like which page were they looking at when they sent this form. Like Elementor, the default Elementor form allows for that. and that's something you want to explore. Again, just for the most basic person, you probably just want to have it just simply the way it is. Yeah, I'd like you to explore the contact section more. It has a lot more that it can show you in there that is pretty useful. All right, let's move on to some other things that we can be able to do. Now, I just want to remind you that there are things that we say that we can be able to do, and let's do that on the top of this. The wedding gowns site. So I want to close that to be able to access now my site. The wedding gowns section. Let it load. There we are. So click on that. So you remember that's the way we change images. So let's change it to a different image. So we set it to be that image. Let's select this to be like our gowns there. So that's our wedding gowns. Then we want to say like we have different types of gowns. So the reason I'm doing all of this is I want to show you how to link. Now, now that I've changed that this that is here, just to put this here, we want to probably give a small explanation. We have actually had text that was there, so let me just pull from there. Let's just copy that. There we are. Then we want to add a small button that takes people to the bottom of the form so that they don't have to, they know that they can be able to make their booking really quickly. So let's copy this button here and let's paste that button there. And now you notice that it's centered and all of our things are left aligned. So you just come, when you click on the button, on that pencil icon, you can be able to get stuff on the to where you want it to be. Now I notice that there's space around it, there's space in between, and you can notice that I think the space is being contributed to by the button itself. Probably not. Let's find out what's causing the space. I'm going to click on this column section and just reduce this to 0. Okay, so that's called the widget spacing, like the spacing in between the different widgets. Now this most definitely has extra padding, so we want to reduce this to more. I know what's going on. I know one of the things that may be a problem, may be happening, is that the text editor, this text editor, it's being given a lot of padding by default on the higher levels, on the theme wide, and so it's causing there to be a really huge space at the end of each section. I think this is still okay. I'm still okay with this, but if you wanted to reduce this space to be completely blank, you'd come and like do the margin, and no, it's not the top. You want the bottom to have negative margin. What that means is that it's going to be extending within itself. So I think that's okay. Update. Now that you have your form already, your button already there, where does it go? Where do you want it to go? So there are two ways of linking. If you wanted to link, let's say, to the home page, you just come to the link section and say home. And that allows you to link, and you can click on that home and it will give you the address for where that is. And so when somebody clicks on this link, they are taken to the page that you had indicated. The best way that I normally go about things is actually copying that link itself, because again, mistakes can happen and you come and paste it there. And that's the way that I like going about it. However, because we don't want to take it home, there's a different thing. If you wanted to navigate somebody down to this section by them clicking a button, what do you do? So you can be able to read around how to create an anchor link, anchor, ANCHOR. I hope I've spelled it correctly, anchor link. But the way you do it is you would come to select to the section where you want people to jump to. So I want people to like when somebody clicks, they come and see this, like this way here. So I'd come and select the section, because this is a section, and then come and create an ID, so CSS ID. You don't need to really know what that is really, but you just need to remember that this is, it's creating, you're creating an anchor. You're naming what this section is called. So that's what a CSS ID is. And so we want to call it book hyphen appointment. You want to book an appointment, and so book appointment. By doing that, you want to make sure that it's either one word or it's separated by a hyphen. You want to copy that exactly as it is, and you want to navigate back up to this and click on that section, and you want to paste it exactly as it was, but you add a hash before it. So let's click on update there. So if we tried to then navigate to our, like somebody has come and said, oh, wedding gowns, you can click there and it's going to navigate them down to that section. So that's linking. Linking is an important part of any website, and I hope that makes some sense. The final thing I want to cover this morning, and then I'm going to open it up for questions, and so you can start typing them in if you have a question, so we're able to get your answers ready ahead of time. The last thing I want to talk about is menus. We had covered menus yesterday, but the way you'd go about things is just going to go to menus. You remember this? We had edited it on a different section, but let's edit it from here. So you click on menus, and menus, the menu is what we are seeing here. This is the menu here. And so the menu is edited by the sections that we have here. And the way that I would edit the menu basically is create, like add sections that are within, how do I put it? Sections that are already designed. So let's say we have pages. We have pages here. The pages that we have already are actually the ones that are published are home and wedding gowns. We actually had a number of other pages that are there, and let's actually go and publish those so that they are available for us to use. On the pages, all pages, you notice that these ones are drafts, so we just want to click on publish. So quick edit, where is the status? Published, update. That's our product section. We have another section that is here that has the name, so there's, let's see. There's a contact us, which is still a draft. Let's say quick edit, status, published, click on update, which then is going to show that it's published. So now the reason why we're doing all of this is to allow for us to have those pages available. Now the demo menu we had created yesterday, as I'd said, was for the purpose of illustration, and this is how we want it to look in the end. But we can be able to create other menus, so we don't want to mess up with what is here. So let's just create a new menu. And when we create a new menu, it's going to allow us to create like a fresh one without interfering with what was there. So main menu, the main menu, we want to click on create menu. And so with this menu, it's basically going to be a menu that allows, it's a menu that we're going to use as a main one moving forward. So let's say it's a primary menu and the footer menu as well, now taking it away from what was there before. And then we want to add, now come to view all, and we can see the pages that are already designed. We have a home, about us, our products, and wedding gowns. So we want to add those, add that to the menu. And so you remember that our product section was a subsection of the wedding gowns. So like you can see our products, then wedding gowns as the next, like right underneath it. And so that's going to form as a sub menu. There is that, so you just drag it there, and it forms as a sub menu. So and then we have our contact. So what is indented is a sub menu. What is at the very top is not. And so let's save that, and you're going to see how it's going to look on our front end. Is on the wedding dress section, and you'll notice that we have home, our products, and beneath that is wedding gowns, then contact us. So as you continue designing more pages there, as you continue adding more pages, those pages are going to continue getting, they are not going to be added automatically. You need to come and add them to the menu. So once you've added more, you just come to view all, and then click on the one you want to add and say add to menu. Now be careful, because you can add things multiple times. Like you can see now, this has home twice, so you don't want to have that. You just want to make sure that the menu items are in this very same way they were before. All right, let's save that. Now we've talked about menus. Now I want to talk slightly about e-commerce, because you're going to be covering functionality tomorrow, and we're going to cover SEO, and we'll actually have a very big plate of things to cover tomorrow. And so I don't want us to have e-commerce as part of the things that we're going to have to cover tomorrow. So I just want to cover it quickly, because it's an important part of being able to get our website going live. Now, before I cover e-commerce, I just want to request us that if you have questions, if you have any questions for me, please post them on the comment section. We will be ending this live stream by around 11:10, and so if we won't have questions by that time, we'll close. And so I'd like you to post questions in there. So let me just talk about e-commerce. I told you yesterday, I'd asked people who are a bit more daring to go and add a plugin called Woocommerce. WooCommerce. Edward is asking that if you install a lot of plugins, do they affect the performance of a website? Yes, they actually do. They affect it quite significantly. Some plugins more than others, but I would say that the more plugins you have, the worse performance you expect from it, because it's like loading your computer with a lot of software. If you have thousands of programs installed, not even thousands, if you have even like 50 heavy software installed and they are all running, it's going to make that website, that computer slow. So in the very same way, because most of this, what do you call them? Most of the websites are actually not even most. All of the websites are software that is running within a computer. By having a very like heavy load on it, it's going to cause it to either run slower or not perform as well as it could. Because, for instance, like right now, you can check like what I'm having right now. The plugins that I have are basically roughly around 5. And some of them are heavy. I'm suspecting this is one of them. Woocommerce, what I'm installing, is one of the heavy plugins that are there. And it does like significantly affect how my website performs. Because, for instance, Elementor is running a lot of JS code and JavaScript code. And so with a lot of JavaScript code, it means that there are things that could go wrong. Things that could be in conflict. So that's the long answer, but the short answer to you, Edward, is yes. When you have a lot of plugins, they affect speed. Some of it might affect SEO, whether to the good or to the worse. They can start causing conflict, and so you can start having a lot of errors that are within your website. So there are a lot of things that can go wrong. So I'd like to just troubleshoot and find out what exactly is going on with that. So you're asking, what do I recommend to boost the performance of a website? I recommend that you use, and actually that's going to be part of tomorrow's lesson, to make your website run faster. First is make your images few, use as few plugins as you can. If you're going to use plugins that are by big, big developers like Elementor, Woocommerce. Astra is also big, so like use that. Use big plugins, big name plugins. Use as few plugins as you can. Use a theme that is lightweight. So Astra is pretty lightweight, but also after that, after you've done that, use things that can help your theme become more like work faster, to be more to load faster. So a free one that I normally use is called Auto Optimize, and it's part of what we're going to install tomorrow and configure. The other one that we're going to install and configure, the other one that I actually use, we are using it for all our client sites. Where are my plugins? Let me just find my plugins. We are using WP Rocket. WP Rocket is a paid tool to help in boosting performance, but that also works pretty well. Auto Optimize also works pretty well. It's very good for the money, for the kind of money that you'll be paying. It's actually pretty good. Okay, so someone else asks, that's Kevin Garama, who asked, which plugin do I install to allow clients to upload their details and photos? Help me understand what you mean by that. Help me understand what you mean by that, Kevin. Do you mean you want them to be able to upload, like send you content? Help me understand what you mean by that, Kevin. Okay, so let's just finish this install, and by the time we are done with this install, then we'll close. So we're installing Woocommerce. Woocommerce is a template, a plugin that allows you to have like e-commerce capabilities within your site. Now, it is quite a deep subject. We could actually have a full webinar that goes on a whole week on how to use Woocommerce, and we probably are going to do that. But this basic is just a basic install to allow people who would want to explore it. So we want to set this up as Kenyan shillings. Where are you based? We're based in Kenya. 1013 Development House. That's our office location. City Nairobi 00100. Which currency? Kenyan shillings. What type of products do you plan to sell? I plan to sell physical products. They are products that I'm going to be sending to people. Kevin Garama, you're saying yes, send content. The answer to that is the plugin we created. This the Contact Form 7. Contact Form 7, you can be able to request people for files. So let's say you want someone to upload a file here. You can just, sorry, I'm taking you guys back. I'm just answering Kevin's question. I hope it's going to be useful to other people as well. You can be able to request for a file. So file type, file, yes, you want to like restrict. So is it required? Yes. Let's say this is like they are sending, let's say a piece of content, let's say photo. Limit file size in bytes, so let's say 2000 bytes. That's 2 kilobytes, so okay, yeah, let's make it 2000 bytes. Then acceptable file type, JPG, comma PNG, and then you can leave the rest as that. And so once you've done that, you can insert that. Now remember, this is the label, so you want the label to be right above that, and say add file, add photo, and then we want to have the closing label tag there. Copy that there and click save. And so you'll notice that on this wedding gowns section, if you refresh this, did I save this? Something probably I didn't save. Let's see if it added files. Request file form. Seems like my link had expired, so let me just copy that again. You want to add a file. Let's just say JPG. It's required. Insert tag. Save. Okay, perfect. It's been saved. So let's refresh this. So you notice that there's a file section added here that allows you to add, and you see it's restricting just to JPEG, not JPG. I hope that answers your question. John is saying that John Ochuro, excited to have joined today, following as he builds his website for his school. Perfect. I hope you're able to find a website that build a website that pleases you. I hope you've learned a lot so far. So thank you. If you don't mind sharing a link of what you've done, we would love to see it and celebrate your success. We want to get back to the WooCommerce setup. So let's go. Nope, we do not want to add tracking. So how do you want to be paid? Offline payments, you can be able to add other types of payments. So there are you can be able to add like online payments, like e-commerce, and we're going to show you one plugin that we actually have available for that. We have designed it, we have developed it, we are going to be releasing it to the market soon. But like cash on delivery and check payments, maybe that's what we want to select. Because I haven't installed that plugin yet, it's not available. So the shipping rates, you probably want to do a flat rate. Let's say 200 shillings every time someone goes. And let's say, okay, so you can be able to configure those later on. So just set it as 200 shillings. Do you want to add this? You probably don't want to add those because they're good, but they may complicate your life a bit more. And you have already set up your shop, so it's actually ready. I don't want to use Jetpack, so I'll skip that step because Jetpack is one of those plugins that I have a love-hate relationship with. It's nice, but I found it to slow down my site at times, so I don't have that. So I have my WooCommerce shop ready, so I can be able to add a new product, which is here. Let's just add one real quick, and then we can close. We are just about to get to our closing time. So add new product, product name, let's say wedding gowns. And again, there's a lot that you can be able to add, and it's good that it's actually giving you a tour of the things you need to do. Select price, create description, add a picture. It's actually guiding you on the things that you need to do. Add a product tag, add a product category, then publish your product. Now, this WooCommerce is a whole other thing, and I would advise you, if you're interested in seeing how e-commerce works, you can explore that. But I do not want to get into the intricacies of doing this because it's quite loaded. But I wish you all the best as you try. So I want to end this webinar at this point. The thing that I would like you to have done by the time this day ends is to have done all of the pages and set them up, probably with forms and so on. Tomorrow we are going to cover on how you can make your website load faster and load more efficiently. So just go in there, get your website ready, and tomorrow we are going to be able to make it have extra functionalities. We're also going to add things like live chat and how you can be able to add live chat to your websites. We're also going to add things like Google Analytics and how you can connect your Google Analytics to be able to see what visitors are coming to your website. So tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the final day of our webinar. I hope you've been having fun. I have. It's been quite an interesting journey for all of us, and I think all of you have learned a lot so far. I'd like you to share your success if you don't mind doing so, and we'll be able to celebrate it with you. And until tomorrow, let's get to work and let's get something going. I hope to see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy.